Hi everybody, welcome back to 3 News Now. I'm Stephanie Haney. Today is Monday, November 25th, 2019. We've got your top headlines, trending topics, and what we're working on for you right now ahead of our 6 p.m. What Matters Most, 7 p.m. Front Row, and 11 p.m. What's Next TV shows. We've got a lot of fun stories today. I just want to say Happy Victory Monday. I always love it when I get to say Happy Victory Monday to you all. I'm wearing my Browns colors, orange, because of the win against the Miami Dolphins yesterday. Very excited about that. We're going to be talking about that in a little bit with our sports analyst, Ben Axelrod, and what our playoff chances are. Yes, that's right. We are actually talking about the Cleveland Browns having playoff chances. Who would have guessed it? Very excited about that. We're also going to be talking about Hoda Kotb, the Today Show co-anchor, getting engaged to her longtime boyfriend over the weekend. Very exciting news. We're very happy for Hoda here at 3 News. We've also got a look at the Best American Music Awards moments for you. We have Taylor Swift, Lizzo, Billie Eilish, all bringing some great moments for us to talk about. Then we're going to take a look forward toward the ends of the week and let you know restaurants that we know of right now that will be open on Thanksgiving. And we're going to finish things off with our We Know You Can segment. This is where we give you your weekly dose of Monday motivation to help give you that little extra push that you need to accomplish whatever it is that you would like to accomplish this week. All right, first up, we're going to talk about Hoda Kotb getting engaged to her longtime boyfriend, Joel Schiffman. That happened over the weekend while the two of them were on vacation. Very exciting news for the couple. They've actually been together for 6 years and they've already adopted 2 children together. So they've already sort of kind of started their life together. Now they're making it official, getting engaged over the weekend. They were on vacation and were having dinner on the beach when he popped the question. Hoda filled everybody in on the Today Show today. She said that when they were done with dinner, these are her words, "I was eating the churros, licking the bottom of the bowl, and he was like, I have something else I'd like to say." And he said some beautiful things, and then he got down on one knee and said, "Would you be my wife?" And it was a beautiful moment, and they were all gushing about it on the Today Show today. So very happy again for Hoda Kotb and Joel Schiffman. Congratulations on your engagement. All right, some other exciting things that happened this weekend were the American Music Awards. There were a lot of great moments that happened at the show. We recapped those on lunch break today with Jay Crawford. And one of the pretty exciting wins for Taylor Swift, among the many wins of the night, was that she did actually get to perform her old music. Now, there was a lot of he said, she said going back and forth between Taylor and Scooter Braun, who bought her old catalog from Scott Borchetta and the Big Machine label group. When it all came to be said and done, Taylor got to perform her old music at the award show where she was being honored for Artist of the Decade, so it was really important to her to be able to perform those old songs that got her to this point. But she didn't do it without making a little bit of a statement there. So she started off in a white jacket with the names of her first 6 albums on the jacket, and she sang her song called "The Man," which is all about how a woman would be treated if she were a man. Well, then, like the total boss that she is, she just went ahead and broke the record for the most AMA awards received. So she started off the night with 23 AMA awards. This is before she went in, before she got her awards. And then she won all 5 awards that she was nominated for. That included Artist of the Year, Favorite Pop Rock Female Artist, Favorite Pop Rock Album for her album Lover, Favorite Adult Contemporary Artist, and also Video of the Year for her video You Need to Calm Down, and then took home, as we said, Artist of the Decade. So that was 6 more awards. She was trailing 1 behind Michael Jackson when the night started because Michael Jackson had 24 in his lifetime. So her 23 plus the 6 that she landed last night, she now has 29 AMAs. Congratulations, Taylor Swift. Seriously, that's a major accomplishment. Very cool moment for her, absolutely. The entire show really was actually just straight fire, and I do mean that literally, because Post Malone, Ozzy Osbourne, Travis Scott, and Watt actually set the stage up in flames during their performance. And everyone was talking about how Billie Eilish also performed in front of a fiery backdrop for one of her songs. And then Shawn Mendes and Camila Cabello, looked like they were about to kiss on stage. This isn't the first time they've done this. They made it seem like they were maybe going to make out right there on stage again. They actually didn't lock lips, but they did win the AMA for Collaboration of the Year for their duet Señorita, which they accepted that award together. And then let's just talk about Lizzo for a moment. She performed her breakup ballad, Jerome, and she looked absolutely stunning on stage in this beautiful purple dress. She was barefoot, so soulful with her performance, really bringing the house down. But then before she even took the stage on the Arrival's red carpet, she created a moment all of her own in this beautiful peach mini dress by Valentino, and this also really tiny little handbag. It was maybe this big, I don't know, maybe the size of like a 50-cent piece. So Lizzo posted on Instagram that the bag was big enough for all of the cares. That's not what she said. She didn't say cares. She said a different word that she had to give. Obviously, Lizzo doesn't care. She's doing well. She's definitely winning. She's feeling good doing it. And we've actually got a tweet from her at the end of the live stream that I'm going to share with you for our Monday Motivation We Know You Can segment as well. All right, now we're going to bring up Ben Axelrod, our sports analyst here at 3 News, and he's going to talk with us about the Browns' playoff chances after they handed a pretty decisive loss to the Miami Dolphins on Sunday. So the Dolphins were 2-8 before going into last night's game. Now they're 2-9. We are 5-6. We won that game by a score of 41-24. That's a lot of points. I think that's the most points I've seen the Browns score in a game in a really long time. So Ben is here with us, and he's going to talk to us about playoff chances.
Yes. Who would have thought just a couple of weeks ago we'd be talking about this?
Not me. But here is my burning question for you, okay? Mm-hmm. At one point in the second half, we were up 21-0.
Yeah.
We let them score a considerable amount of points between then and the end of the game. Are we really playing well, or are the Dolphins just that bad?
I think it's a little of both, and I think that's usually how it goes in the NFL. You can only play who's in front of you, and the Browns' schedule was front-loaded with some of the toughest teams, and especially some of the toughest defenses in the NFL. And on top of that, though, we saw the Browns struggle, and we saw a lot of self-inflicted issues with the team, and especially on offense. So after they played the Broncos, really after they played the Patriots, because the Broncos were a beatable opponent, the schedule eased up, and we saw them beat the Bills. We saw them beat the Steelers without Ben Roethlisberger, and yesterday we saw them beat the Dolphins. So, that's not exactly a murderer's row, but they do what they needed to do, and here they are standing at 5-6, heading into a really big game against the Steelers with a lot on the line for the rest of the season.
And with going into the Steelers game, obviously this is a very important game. The Steelers are 6-5. We did beat them once. What exactly does this game mean for us?
Yeah, it actually means a lot. If you look at the standings and the wild card, which is really the Browns' best path of getting to the playoffs, it's just hard to imagine them catching the Ravens this late in the season. The Ravens play again tonight. Right now they have a 3.5 game lead over the Browns. If they win tonight, that goes up to 4 games. Just tough to make up that ground with 5 weeks left in the season. But if you were to look at the AFC wildcard standings, and that's 2 teams make the playoffs who are non-division winners, so the 2 best teams that don't win their division and get that automatic bid. Right now, the Steelers are one of those 2 teams. Right now, they are in pole position for the second wild card spot behind the Buffalo Bills. But if the Browns can beat them, then they have the same record, and the Browns have the tiebreaker over them, having beaten them twice. So that basically gives the Browns, their own path to controlling their own destiny as far as the Pittsburgh Steelers are concerned. And aside from that, just the Browns are in a position now sitting at 5-6 with 5 games left in the season where they really can't afford any more slip-ups. They could probably afford 1 more loss and still have a realistic chance of making the playoffs. And ideally, that loss would come to the Arizona Cardinals because of the wild card tiebreaker and the way that works out. But if the Browns were to lose to the Steelers and essentially have to win out, and you go down now 2 games to the Steelers, that's just too big of a uphill battle, I think, for this team to climb moving forward.
So with the Ravens right now, they're 8-2. You said they play again tonight. So the Ravens are pretty much locked up for the AFC North, which is the Browns division, right?
Yeah, I mean, the Browns have 1 game left against the Ravens, and the Ravens have 1 game left against the Steelers. So, they haven't locked it up. If they lose tonight, then they're up only 3 games with 5 games left in the season. So maybe things get interesting then, especially if the Browns can beat them. I think that's in the second to last week of the regular season in Week 16. But, the Ravens they've been so dominant. They've looked so good. It's hard to imagine them falling apart. They'd have to either go 2-3 or worse the rest of the way for the Browns to even have a shot at catching them. And the Ravens are just playing so well that it's hard to imagine that being the way this all plays out.
Taking a look at how they're playing now versus how they were playing when we played them earlier in the season, do you think we have a shot at beating them again?
Yeah, certainly. And that game's in Cleveland. There's a chance I think it gets flexed to prime time in Sunday Night Football, which creates a unique atmosphere, especially in late December in Cleveland. I mean, the Browns' offense is finally hitting its stride. And ironically, the one time we saw it hit its stride early in the season was against the Ravens when they beat them down up in Baltimore in Week 4. So, yeah, I mean, I think the way the Browns are playing lately, they have a shot with anyone. It's just a matter of, I think there were just so many self-inflicted mistakes, from the turnovers to the penalties to coaching decisions that's how I think the Browns got in that hole where they were 2-6 earlier this year before this 3-game winning streak. But yeah, I mean, I think the way the Browns are playing right now, they're right there with anyone, including the Ravens.
Now, I haven't watched the Bengals play.
Yeah, lucky you.
But I know, right, lucky me for sure. But I know they're 0-11, so thank you, Bengals, for being bad and taking the last spot in the AFC right now. So are those games that we can count on winning?
It's interesting. They actually just announced earlier, about an hour or so ago, that Andy Dalton, they're moving him back into the starting lineup. He's their longtime quarterback. Once they started, I think once they got to 0-7 or 0-8, they had benched him in favor of Ryan Finley, a younger quarterback, just to see what they have in him. And as it turns out, they don't have much in him. So they're going back to Andy Dalton, they said, for the rest of the season. So, Andy Dalton, not a great quarterback, but he's a more veteran quarterback. He's a more experienced quarterback. But if the Browns are going to do what they need to do, they're going to have to win both of those Bengals games. It's hard to envision a scenario where they lose to a team like the Bengals and also, go perfect the rest of the way to get to 9-7, which is I think kind of the magic number right now. So, yeah, I mean, those two games against the Bengals late in the season, no games in the NFL are gimmies. The Steelers struggled to beat the Bengals yesterday, but yeah, I mean, those are really the kind of games that the Browns have to continue to take advantage of, just like they did yesterday with the Dolphins.
And as you mentioned earlier, if we do take another loss this season, hopefully it's against the Arizona Cardinals, because they're in the NFC West. So
correct.
In terms of wild card, that's our best bet, is if we do lose to that. If we do lose that game,
if you're going to lose one, that's the one to lose. Ideally, you go 10-6. I think if you go 10-6, you leave no doubt. But that's a lot of games to win in a row. I mean, they've already won 3 in a row. You're looking then at winning 8 games in a row. That just doesn't happen a whole lot in the NFL. So I don't even know if that's something we could realistically talk about, even with, this schedule statistically is the second easiest remaining schedule in the NFL. What's interesting, though, I was talking to Jay Crawford a little bit earlier, and we started to get into the tiebreakers, because the way the wild card is set up, you have a bunch of teams who are 5-6 and 6-5, all kind of bunched together. You have to imagine some of them are going to, there's a good chance that second wild card spot is going to come down to 2 teams, if not more than 2 teams, who have the same record. And in that case, you get into tiebreaker scenarios. And the first tiebreaker scenario is head-to-head record. If you played that team, who won that game? So for the Browns, that's advantageous from the sense that they have that tiebreaker over the Buffalo Bills, who they beat 2 weeks ago. The only problem is the way the Bills are playing. The Bills probably aren't going to be the team the Browns are tied with, because I don't know if the Browns will be able to catch the Bills, who already have 8 wins. But if they did, the Browns would have that tiebreaker. Unfortunately for the Browns, though, they don't have that tiebreaker against the Tennessee Titans, who obviously beat them in Week 1. The Titans, though, have the second toughest schedule remaining in the NFL, so they might not have a path to even get to 9-7 or 10-6. So the Browns might just finish with a better record than the Titans, which is what they would need to do to get ahead of them in the standings. But then the rest of the AFC, the Raiders, the Steelers, the Colts, those are teams that the Browns don't play head-to-head. They play the Steelers head-to-head, and right now they would have that tiebreaker. But the Raiders, the Colts, those teams, the Browns, it looks like, are going to have a better record in the AFC, especially 4 of these last 5 games are in the AFC. If they win those games, they'll definitely have a better record in the AFC, which is what they'll need to do to even get in these tiebreaker scenarios. So from a tiebreaker standpoint, the Browns are actually shaping up pretty nicely here.
Well, that is good to hear. I love hearing that.
I try to bring good news.
Yes, thank you, Ben. We appreciate it. So many possibilities with 5 games left in the regular season. We appreciate you breaking it down for us.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
And that story is up on WKYC.com where Ben breaks it all down in case you want to read it because we did cover a lot of ground.
Yep.
All right, thanks, Ben.
Thank you.
All right, as we are looking ahead to Thanksgiving this week, it falls on Thursday. Giving thanks for the many blessings in all of our lives. Here's a blessing if you don't want to cook. There will be some restaurants that are open on Thanksgiving Day. A couple of them that you're probably familiar with. These are popular chains that are all over the state of Ohio. Bob Evans will be open. Every single location will be open until 8 p.m. on Thanksgiving Day at Bob Evans. Cracker Barrel will also be open. I always think of this as a breakfast place. I know they offer everything that you could want at Cracker Barrel, every meal for the day. They'll be open their regular hours starting at 11 a.m. Denny's will also be open as usual, and you can also pick up a turkey dinner for 4 people there to go from Denny's locations. And IHOP will be open as usual. We have more restaurants on the website on WKYC.com if you want to take a look at what might be open in your area if cooking is just not your thing. And there's no shame in that. I'll be eating with family, but I won't be cooking anything. And if I do bring anything, it will be store-bought. So if you're picking up something from a restaurant, I'm on your team. All right, we're going to finish things out today with a segment that we like to call We Know You Can. This is all about your daily dose of motivation, starting your week off right, and giving yourself that little bit of inspiration, actually asking for that help, asking for that encouragement from other people. There's a really great quote by Facebook COO Sheryl Sandberg that I particularly like. She said, "We hold ourselves back in ways both big and small by lacking self-confidence, by not raising our hands, and by pulling back when we should be leaning in." And what I take that to mean is it's never a bad idea to raise your hand and ask for that additional encouragement, and never a bad idea to say, hey, you know, I could use a little boost of confidence, a little more inspiration today. Speaking of Hoda, who we talked about earlier, she Instagrammed a great quote today that I just want to share with you. She Instagrammed the quote, "And suddenly you know it's time to start something new and trust the magic of new beginnings." That was her quote today. And then she added her own words with it. "Happy Monday, good day for a fresh start." And in case you're going through something tough and you wanted some inspiration, just take a look at Lizzo, who is the most nominated artist for the 2020 Grammys coming up in February. Now, she didn't win. She was nominated for 3 things at the AMAs, did not win, still had a killer performance, still made an amazing showing on the red carpet. We're still talking about her today. This is what she tweeted today. 8 years of touring, giving out free tickets to my undersold shows, sleepless nights in my car, losing my dad and giving up on music, playing shows for free beer and food with negative $32 in my bank account, constantly writing songs, hearing no, but always saying yes. Glad I never gave up. If that's not some motivation for you to see where Lizzo is now from talking about being negative $32 in your bank account, that's just amazing. That's an incredible story. Thank you, Lizzo, for sharing that. So when we asked you to share your stories of what you were working on, what are the goals that you need a little extra motivation for this week, we got a couple of responses. I want to share those with you now. Sherry Barrows Elwell said that she has lost 60 pounds in 2019. That's amazing, Sherry. And to meet her goal for the end of the year, she has 10 more to go, and she wants to pull it off in this decade. Sherry, we were pulling for you. You are almost there. You can do it. Congratulations on losing 60 pounds. That's incredible. All right, Diane Steenstra says her goal is to get as much sleep as she possibly can because she has a bad head cold. Diane, we are sending healing vibes to you. We hope that you feel better very soon. And then over on Instagram, Kamrul Hassan said that he has a pharmacology exam coming up. So we want to wish Kamrul very good luck on that exam. I'm sure you've studied and put in the good work, and you are going to get a top score on that exam. Good luck with that. All right, thank you so much for joining us here today. We really appreciate you being a part of the live stream, liking our page, following along so you get the notifications when we are live. If you haven't already, please make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. And while you're subscribing, make sure you click the bell so you get those notifications every single time we go live so you don't miss a single episode of 3 News Now. We really appreciate you being here. I'm Stephanie Haney. Have a great day.